Surya Varman's builders race against time to finish the temple before his death. However, there is evidence to suggest that they were not fully successful. These incomplete bas-reliefs reveal that the project was not fully completed. But Charles Hayem does believe that the temple performed its ultimate function and was ready to receive Surya Varman's ashes after his death.
When the king died, he would have been cremated, he would have been turned into ashes, but he was still alive. He had a new name, Parama Vishnu Loka, he who has gone to live with Vishnu.
He points to evidence of the burial process, intended to turn the king into a living god found on the site.
And so the ashes were placed in a great stone casket. Some of those stone caskets have survived. One of them was actually found here, but it was in the wrong place. It had been moved. And so when the ashes in the stone casket were placed dead center under the central tower, then, as they say, the statue of Vishnu, the god king, represented in stone, eyes were opened, and the king lived.
Surya Varman may have been safely buried, but the very system that allowed him to build Angkor Wat and its amazing hydraulic city may have contained the seeds of the Khmer Empire's doom. Angkor's vaunted water systems, its canals and reservoirs and irrigation channels, grew more complex to support the sprawling megacity. Huge tracts of land have been clear-cut for temples, homes, and farming, allowing silt to build up on the canals and reservoirs during the rainy season. With a growing populace and deforestation stretching the jungle's resources, massive engineering suddenly gave way to over-engineering.
As we see the system becoming more and more complex, we start to see evidence of adaptations, people trying to patch things up, the system becoming more and more complex and unworkable.
Overwhelmed by such a high-maintenance water system, food production and transportation may have gradually started to fail. The Khmer's brilliantly constructed system reached a breaking point.
My own theory is that, like so many other civilizations, it got to be so wealthy and so grand and so complicated that it became irresistible as a target for others. And eventually, through these ripe conditions, kings and rulers came along that just couldn't hold it all together. And after successive attempts, perhaps, by neighboring cultures, eventually it was taken over.
In 1431, the city of Angkor was sacked by Thai invaders, and the Khmer king abandoned the site the next year. The jungle and swamp reclaimed its wooden homes and palaces, its sophisticated waterways clogged with silt and weeds. The city was lost, but the temple has stood the test of time, even though during the 15th century it was converted to a Buddhist shrine.
Angkor Wat was never abandoned, and perhaps because of its extraordinary presence, its size, its grandeur, it naturally attracted people to use it. And that use changed over the years, but there were always people in it, they were always praying, they were always using it.
Having built a celestial home for their king in his afterlife, the work of Surya Varman's engineers continues to create awe. 1 million visitors travel to the site each year, often just as inspired as the experts.
Every time I come back to Angkor, I feel an even greater sense of awe and amazement at the conception, at the scale, at the marvelous architecture, at the remarkable reliefs that surround it, and of course, like a great gnarled old tooth, that central tower there looks out serenely over the jungle around us. It is just absolutely amazing.
It continues to be as Surya Varman II intended. One of the largest and most awe-inspiring religious monuments ever built. Angkor Wat, a home fit for the gods. go. When a mistake is made, you go back to the drawing board. But when mistakes come off the page, it is